Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob here from Ram Studios Comics. Welcome back. So, forgive the poor setup here, but I'm going to try to show you some rendering techniques. So, what I got here is a shot of Venom, and I've got two LEDs, one a little bit softer, one a little bit harder, HB and 2H or something like that, I believe. Anyways, what I want to do here is show you kind of my process. So, I start off with the lighter LED. I've got a lot of drawing on the page, so I'll start to use a rider for the back of my hand here. And what I'll do is I'll first kind of glance around the shape of whatever I'm going to render. So in this case, I've already established my perimeter shape of the tongue. It kind of wrapping around itself as Venom's tongue tends to do. And I might draw in a shape of basic shadows first, because obviously I'm not going to render as much if this is going to be a blocked in shadow. I might define those with a couple small X's or just lightly, glance across that area and establish that there's going to be more of a shadow there. So hopefully that's all showing up on the illustration. I think it's maybe coming off the illustration, isn't it? Yeah, I just shaded this area here. So forgive me there because, again, my setup's a little funky here because I'm so used to doing digital. So this area I'm sure you can see. So what I'll do first is, like I said, kind of ghost around the shape. I'm trying to fill out the form, and with a character like this, you see there's a lot of little noodling and doodling around, and I do that on purpose because what happens is it tends to give it a bit more grit and character, I think. So what I'll do is first kind of skip around and just block in some little spatter of detail, and I think this is important to do because it helps you build up to this idea. It kind of warms you up to what you might want to see. For instance, when I do a lot of the neck work and these little veins and areas over here, I don't always know exactly the shape. So I might say, well, what if this area was a little bit higher and I add a little bit of a shadow going back here. I make this kind of like U or Y shape in there, and then I break it up and I do a couple thinner lines. Purposely I'll sometimes go back and erase parts of the line just to, again, make it broke up and a little more randomized. Because with a character like this, I think those random details really sell it. Really makes it feel more eerie and gritty and fun. Try to fight the urge to make a bunch of clean lines is what I'm getting at. So you'll see I start off with some shaded areas and I kind of bounce around and kind of spackle it. Kind of spatter it, I guess, would be the better word, not spackle. Spackle's like what you fix a hole in the wall with or something. I don't know. But, just play around with it. Just try this out. It's fun. It should be fun. Tell you what, if it's not fun, you're not doing it right? So just try again until it's fun. But a character like this, I always love drawing Venom because you can really just have, fun with it. And nobody can really say, people can say you're not doing it right. Oh, Venom's eyes don't look like that, or his head's not that big to his shoulders. Whatever, just that. To me, it's like characters like this are completely imaginative, and you could really stretch it. You could create your own version. I get sick and tired of people always going, "Oh, the anatomy, this and that, change that, do this." Like, really? It's fan art fun, people. It's just random illustrations, imaginative characters. And again, that's why I love a character like this, because they got to really try to knock, you didn't do this, that, or the other right. It's a monstrous type character. So you can really, again, stretch the imagination, have fun with it. So after I've got a good amount of texture in there, if I'm okay with it, I'll leave it, which I'm pretty much liking that effect. It does look a bit too rectangular. So if you notice, I kind of did it all in this one area. Well, it needs to blend to this area. So I've got this bulk of shadow here. It doesn't look like it's going to match. Now, by the time I taper it down, maybe it could. But what I'm going to do is just take my kneaded eraser here. This is a Prismacolor kneaded eraser. I'm just going to soft erase that back just a little bit. So see, I kind of flattened it out. And you want to stretch these to clean them. Just kind of glance over that. I'm almost just using the weight of my hand, maybe a little bit more weight, but not much. So I just want to soft erase this information back. It's still kind of there. It's definitely harder to read. And then I'm just going to come back in here. I'm still using the harder lead, by the way. What I want to do is just kind of make these decisions a little more final. So I'll go back through here one more time, and I'm going to purposely try to taper this downward. So just so you know, I'm imagining the line going like this. So I picture this imaginary kind of shape, and you could really just lightly sketch that shape in there. So that's the direction I want my texture, bulk of my texture and shading to fall within. So you see I'm skipping around a lot, being messy with it, because again, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Just want to really give that eerie kind of texturized feel to the character. I'll draw that shape of shadow in going this way. Get my piece of paper there. I want you to see the artwork, but then again, I don't want to smudge through the art, as I tend to do a lot. Probably use some fixative or something in between these passes, but I don't know. I never really liked fixative. Maybe I just never learned how to use it properly. I don't know. So yeah, so there we go. Getting that texture in there. Now also, I don't want the texture to stop abruptly at this line. So I'm going to texture and break that up with some other lines, kind of flowing around the tongue, the form. So again, so it breaks up this kind of stop and go that I've got going on with that line that I've introduced from the texture. And you know, if you're unsure of something, draw lighter. Draw with your lighter lead. Just kind of, again, ghost over the object. Go back and forth, just kind of feeling it out and trying to allow your imagination to catch up. You know, kind of something to kick in and see an idea. But at first, just slowly kind of add to it. You know, the lighter you draw, the more time you give your brain box to figure something out. So I want this center ridge to the tongue to appear to be more recessed. So I'm going to purposely shade that in with a heavier shadow. And then I'm going to work over and around this form. But again, notice how I'm breaking up these lines. I'm bouncing around. Those little broken lines do a lot for the illustration. I wish I could explain it in a better way, a better understanding of it, other than, hey, it works, but it does work. It's like, it's a lot more interesting to have broken up lines and basically, in this sense, texture, but then to draw these clean, pristine lines around everything. So what I tend to do, I mean, at least me personally, is when I'm drawing a female character or something of beauty and, you know, prettiness, then I might do a lot more clean strokes of the line, you know, quick passes and clean lines that connect. And then if I'm trying to draw something more eerie and gritty and scary or whatever, then I use a lot more of the broken up lines. And there's a lot of gray area in between that, obviously, but that's just a little bit of what my thought process is when I try to convey, you know, beauty versus monstrous, or again, you're going to always hear me use the word gritty. I like the gritty vibe to something like this. You know, maybe the occasional little bump on the tongue. You know, it's a little, you can just kind of draw the shadow to it. You don't even have to draw the circle all the way around, just a shadow kind of conveys that. It's kind of amazing how much you really can convey with just the shadow. Okay, so we're starting to get there where the shading is under the tongue. Now, here's the other thing. Don't hesitate to pull lines in the other direction. Okay, so you'll see me do this a lot. It's just, I don't know, it's fun, I think. I think it really breaks up the idea that you have to keep this continuity of everything going in the same direction. That flow can be helpful sometimes, but there's other times you really want to break yourself out of that boundary box of repetitive flow. And again, I think it would coincide with something that you're trying to make look a bit more organic or fleshy or gritty. That's today's word, folks, gritty. So see how those lines that give it that little bit more shading in that area? Obviously we keep going with that. We could keep doing shadows. You could even pull some of these lines up and around. Again, kind of enforcing that spherical nature of the tongue, you know, that kind of this effect. But notice that I don't have a whole lot of lines that are just doing that. Like they're not just going around like this. They're mixed up. They're mixed up in the way that they're, you know, variation of render, variation of direction and everything. But ultimately they work together to still give that effect. So I am still thinking about that shape as I render this, but I'm also trying to just mix it up a bit. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully that gives you a good idea into how you can render a creepy tongue. And what else can we talk about here? So I kind of wanted to explain a little bit of the neck here. Let me make sure it's in the camera's focal point. So with this, you know, I just want to show you that I'm overlapping shapes. Okay, that's all this really is. And then I'm connecting those overlap shapes with the shadow. So that's why it should hopefully read okay. So you know, I could do away with this line right through here and right on the top of this, say, vein or whatever this is. I'm just saying it's skin on top of skin at this point, but and then I might reinforce this with a couple little, show you some lead here, a couple little lines like this. So hopefully you can see that I'm trying to push that shape up, but there's no top line to it. The top line is created by the other shadows of the recessed area past it. This effect is so powerful and so easy to do. If you can't do it, just draw stuff in and then come back and erase where you think the light source of that shape would be, and then come back and you want to do a drop shadow to one side, really a little bit of the shadow to the other side, but you don't have to draw this line. And if you want and you like that style, cool, but just keep in mind that our imaginations are really good at connecting the dots. So allow your viewer to connect those dots for you. And you can see I've got a lot of overlaps. I got indentations, I got some going this way, some going up. This kind of Y's out. I didn't draw the line there either, but I did a little bit of shading over here to convey that, and also convey that these two pieces kind of come together and form this bigger shape right there. At least that's what I'm seeing. I mean, what you're seeing, I don't know. Maybe you're seeing something different than I am. And then use your little line work to push areas back and push other areas, raise other areas forward. Simple as that. I mean, that's kind of the premise of it. And then you just keep elaborating. Again, with a character like this, I can have all sorts of fun in there and noodle around and do all these little pockets of shapes because it's Venom. You know, it's very imaginative, very creepy and alien-like, so I can get away with that. Now, if this is a human face, you can still do all these techniques, but it's gonna look a bit weird if it doesn't read like a face, like a whatever it is you're rendering. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, other things I don't think I mentioned yet is you know, the teeth. You can see I've got the teeth looking still a little bit too smooth. I started to render a little bit of texture in the teeth up here, but I'm going to continue that through here. So I'm going to try to fight the urge to just make these teeth all the same shape and all the same rendering. I can vary that up a bit. I can add little cracks and dents and dings in the teeth, and I can make these look a lot more interesting than just regular, you know, teardrop looking pointed teeth or whatever. It's how much I think into it that I can develop it and come up with something fun and, again, creepy and gritty. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to be bringing you more of these traditional art videos. They're going to be a little bit clunky at first because I need to figure out the setup. I need to figure out how to present this to you. So make sure to comment in the section below because that will help me improve upon the quality of these each time. Let me know what you liked about this video, what you didn't, what you'd like to see in the future. And I'll make sure to get that to you. Just make sure that, you know, you comment below and share the videos if you like them. So as always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and I will talk to you soon.